everybody, and welcome to another episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
Oh no, I didn't get your microphone. Oh
Not
man,
even ready.
I completely forgot that I didn't get your microphone ready.
Oh my god!
That's the fun and spontaneity of a live show, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we are live every Monday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to make sure you don't miss a live show and get those live reactions, then you make sure to subscribe to this channel, click the bell for notifications, click your notification settings to make sure you get updated so you know when we're going live on Mondays. Of course, if you're catching the show after the fact, no worries. We really appreciate you. Of course, make sure to leave a comment and a like, and it helps us out. It really does. Thank you. And thank you, Tiffany, for being here. Of course, if you want to help sponsor today's show, you can do so by using Super Chats. Ask a question or comment, read it here on the show. It'll be part of the show forever, and you'll be like the third host of the show.
Yeah, you can get surprised too.
Yeah, we can surprise the pants off of you. But we're very excited. There's so much to talk about. There's two things I want to address at the top of the hour. The first of which is today is the last day that you can pre-order the DC All-In special that's coming out on October 2nd. If you want to know more about that, you can actually check out a conversation that I had with Scott Snyder all about that. That episode was shot last night. I edited it last night, and then I went to bed, and then I read Animal Pound, and then I fell asleep. And then I got up the next morning and uploaded it and sent it off to the team and made sure that it was all good. And then there it was. So it was out, ready to go at noon. So you can make sure to subscribe or get that book. It's only one book. Well, next week, September 16th, is the last day for final order cutoff of Terminator #1 from Dynamite.
I thought it was this week.
You know, I screwed up the day. So actually, we have a whole extra week. I
have to rescind my tweet.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'll just put another one there. But yeah, 9/16 is the final order cutoff date. And what that means essentially is it's your comic book store will guarantee you a copy if you pre-order the book up until a certain time, because that's, they have to have a cutoff date for when the book has to ship, and they have to ship print a certain number of copies.
Sure.
So when it comes to Terminator, if you want to guarantee that you get a copy at your local comic book store, then you have to let them know before September 16th that you can get a copy. Why would you even bother to get an issue of Terminator? Well, besides the fact that Declan Shalvey and Luke Sparrow are working on that book and making a terrific new interpretation of a classic time-honored franchise, I wrote a backup story. It's going to be 10 pages, and you're going to get 2 pages at a time per issue, I believe, for the first 5 issues. And who knows, if word of mouth goes well, if you like it, if people enjoy it, if the book sells pretty well, then maybe it'll be bumped up. Maybe I'll get like 12 pages next time, or maybe even a whole issue all to myself. You never know. This industry is crazy. It's so crazy that I got a job writing a Terminator story, which, even if it's the last thing I do, is a boon for me.
Absolutely.
A true feather in my cap. So we want to thank you for your support, your nice comments. It's interesting, actually. You can look up all these different books on. We use a website, League of Comic Geeks, to showcase like what books are coming out this week and stuff like that. If you actually look ahead at 10/9, that's October 9th, which is when the issue drops. You can actually see that like that book's there. There's a little comment section. There's some very nice complimentary things being said about me in there, which I thought was very nice. And so if you want us to do that, you can. But no obligation. I will say that it goes up the chain. People are talking about it, which I appreciate. So thank you. But
hooray!
Yeah, hooray! Hey, also, Absolute Batman comes out on that same day. I should also point out that another bit of housekeeping. If you would like to meet me and get a copy of Terminator on the day that Terminator drops, which is October 9th, at Zap Comics in Wayne, New Jersey, from 5 to 7 p.m., I'll be there signing copies of Terminator and whatever you put in front of me, really. But the reason that I'm there is because there's a book with my name on it somewhere towards the back that you can buy that I wrote. So I'll be there too. So if you're in New Jersey, come on by. It's Wednesday. I'll probably have to shoot back issues after I get back. So like, I can't hang out, but I'll be there. And you can also shop at a really terrific comic book store. Zap Comics has a lot of books.
And there may be something else going on at New York Comic Con too, right?
Oh, undoubtedly. I don't think there's no definitive official plans for a signing at New York Comic-Con.
But it might.
It might. However, New York Comic-Con is coming around the bend. It'll be October before you know it. Right now, it feels like it's never going to come, but it will soon. And the thing about New York Comic-Con is we go. You, me, Ben, Ethan.
Yeah.
We go to New York Comic-Con, and so I want to let people know pretty much as soon as humanly possible where and when we're going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
My guess would be Friday will be the day when we do the meetup, but I'm thinking we should probably just do a meetup all the time. Like, we should just, every day we're there, we'll be like, hey, I'll be over there at this hour. Come say hi.
Okay.
Just to make sure that no one misses out. Because I feel bad that people go to the show and they don't see us and stuff like that. You're not going to see Ethan, but you might see me and probably Tiffany.
I thought Ethan was going.
No, he is, but he won't. I don't think he'll be there all the days.
No.
We do have.
I think Ben's going.
Ben's going one of the days.
I thought he was going too.
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay.
In either way. So if you come to New York Comic-Con, stay for us. You'll see us.
Stay frosty.
Stay frosty, my friends.
Eat frosties.
Yes. Anyway, so I read Batman 152. We should also mention that we'll at the end of our reviews, we're going to pick out a book of the week, the book that stands out the most, and we felt like really deserves some distinction.
Was that the other bit of news? You said there was was it the book? And
I read all of Animal Pound.
Okay,
yeah. I read all of it. Animal Pound ended this week, so I was like, fine, because I got a copy of Animal Pound. I think I pre-ordered it, but I was like, I gotta read this book. It's Tom's, Animal Farm interpretation, and I saw a page of it, like just someone dropped a page out of context on Reddit. And I saw it and went, all right. And I sat down and I read it all. And it's like, that's my Tom King reading experience now. Is I'm like, oh, well, if it's, especially because it was 5 issues. I'm like, oh, I could read 5 issues in an hour. No problem. It took 3, but it was still
3 hours.
Yeah, about. I mean, no, it was 2 hours.
A lot of words.
Yeah, there were a lot of words. It was a lot of talking because it was a political thriller / send up /
Yeah, I can't read that book.
It's because it's like it's dark, it's prescient, it's apocalyptic in its own way, but moreover, it features adorable animals, and they look great.
No,
I think Pete Gross drew that, and it's just like they're in startling realistically depicted. Makes me very sad.
Yeah,
but
I can't read that.
And actually, because of what a weird and wild world we live in, I got to actually text Tom, go like, man, you made me sad. What the hell?
Yeah.
And he's like, it had to end sad. Whoa, was it going to end happy? And I'm like, I guess that's fair. And we just chatted about that for a while. But anyway,
too sad.
But I should say that Animal Pound is coming out soon, and it's going to be great if you read it all in one sitting. And but it'll be sad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in its own way. There's it's a cautionary tale. Anyway, all right. So I read Batman 152.
Okay.
This, of course, is written by Chip Zdarsky and art by Mike Hawthorne.
Yes.
It features a Absolute Power tie-in in which Batman and Catwoman are bouncing around the universe, and they're fighting kind of like half-assed Amanda Waller Suicide Squad, which includes Bizarro. And Batman and Catwoman team up, help each other out. This is not like Catwoman's not a multiversal character. She's not a galactic hopping character.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, oh, it's neat to see Catwoman kind of like out of her depth, I guess, but through Batman's lens.
Right.
And so it was fine. The art
Is this the one with the dark side moment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that got like leaked for no reason.
Right.
Yeah, there's a big moment where like Batman's facing off against Darkseid, and he's just like, all right, Catwoman, turn around and get out of here, we gotta go. And she's like, who is that? And he goes, death. And I'm like, I don't know if Batman would say that.
Yeah, no, not necessarily.
This is a silly thing for him to say, but
this is death.
He actually doesn't even say death. He says he's death.
Maybe Chip Zdarsky has the same opinion of Batman that Garth Ennis has.
Right.
He's just silly.
He's just a silly man who needs to be taken down a peg
in
or
a
two.
bad suit.
I don't know. I know that. I don't think Chip really feels that way.
No, I don't think so.
It's just, but it's it's a fun little adventure, I guess, if you want to read that. It's what Batman is doing during Absolute Power. So if you're wondering that, you also get a really good looking Birds of Prey tie-in backup. So you talk about backups.
Oh, okay.
There's a backup in this, which I believe is written by Kelly Thompson, and it's just like what Black Canary is doing before she decides to go in the Green Arrow book.
Okay.
It's like, that's fun.
Yeah.
Like and that was the art was fantastic, and it was a little fun. It was a fun moment. For me, it was funny because I thought I read Birds of Prey then, and I was like, "Oh, yay!" And then I was like, "Wait, I didn't read Birds of Prey. I didn't
Okay.
actually know what the hell happened in the main Birds of Prey books."
Yeah.
I went back and read Birds of Prey, and that was good too. But yeah, Batman 152, it's all right.
Okay.
It's all right. The Hawthorne art really makes the book suffer, unfortunately. But it's it's Batman.
It's Batman.
It'll sell anyway. Birds of Prey number 13 from Kelly Thompson, with art this time entirely by Gavin Guidry.
Wow, nice.
The birds battle their long-standing 12 or 13 issue long nemesis. They end up back home. They find insight. It's like the last chapter in the main story before like they hang it up on a wall and go, all right, well, we'll deal with that later.
Well, we did that.
Yeah, so we focus on each of these characters in a fun individualist way. Jordi Belair did the colors, or continues to do the colors, and it like really helps to unify the book. Although, I mean, Guidry does some of the art throughout the series. It was actually fun to see Guidry just kind of take over the whole book and kind of go for it. But like the Belair colors make it just that much more consistent, really just like homogenizes the whole book together. I know normally hegemony is like a dirty word in this industry, but I mean, like, no, when you read it all together, you'll be like, this all feels like one cohesive story.
Right.
But it's a lot of fun. And, you watch the character. I mean, Kelly Thompson gets every single one of these characters, gives them all something to do, and to an opportunity to see them sing. And oh no, Jordi Belair's final issue. That's interesting. I didn't even realize that. So she'll be leaving the book. But I'm excited to see the book progress. I'm excited to see the book keep going, because it's a good series. And I think that not everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, okay.
But which is why I talk about it a lot.
I think when it's in trade, more people are going to just grab it.
I hope so.
Like, I feel like that's how some of these titles end up with a fan base, but it's unfortunate, because then what happens is it's like too late in a way. Mm-hmm. Especially if you pick it up like without a pre-order of the trade. Because I understand not pre-ordering a trade that you don't know if you're going to enjoy, especially if you're not familiar with the team.
Absolutely.
But then when people are like, why don't they do more stories like this? And it's like, well, because no one bought it when it was coming out.
That's exactly right. And these
not
editors have like a long memory
too. I think people are buying this. Yeah. It's just, there's a lot going on over in DC right now. Yeah. And it's like one of those books that's like, it's just consistently good. So, people aren't like, oh my God, can you believe it? Blah.
No, it's true.
Like, oh, they messed this up. It's like, no, it's just a consistently good book.
Yeah. By the way, just as a quick aside, Animal Pound came out last week, the last issue. So if you want to go back and pick it all up, I guarantee every issue is probably on the shelf. But you should check it out, because it's a really good series. I saw one of our audience members, saw Tom King, maybe it was San Diego, and said, hey, like, could you sign my Animal Pound? And he was like, oh, people actually care about this book. Like, people liked this book. Like, no one brings me Animal Pound to sign.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think he's like especially proud of it. So if you want to win some brownie points with Tom, definitely bring him Animal Pound and read it and give it to your like dad. You know why. And so what did you read, Tiffany?
I didn't read a ton.
I know, but that's okay.
I read Kid Venom because I said I would.
Kid Venom
number 2. I read that.
Yep, you did.
And we're gonna get to the credits page in just a minute once we finish loading everything. Whoa, there it was. Written and drawn by Taigami, or Taigami. And I mean, this is like, is it like Peach Momoko's World? Not really.
Okay. It's just it is manga inspired / adjacent, so people might draw those comparisons.
Yeah, for sure. But it's interesting. This book's like really, really interesting to me in terms of like studying, like, not that I do, because I don't, sure. And there are people out there who do. But like, really considering the differences between Western and Eastern comics, and like this book flew. Like in a way just where
read
like,
really fast.
Right, because like in like a manga, often you would have like infinitely more pages, and this
true.
This book just was like, and it's done, and I'm like,
oh, it's over already. Damn it!
I could use a little more, but that said, I mean, like what you lose in the like smaller many paged format of manga is often is like the attention to color within the art. But yeah, like and honestly, even it's like I can feel that in this book, the artist is definitely like having to deal with a shorter number of pages, larger page landscape.
Mm-hmm.
And at times, like, it feels like some of the panels, like, you don't 100% understand how
what's happening.
Yeah, or how he got to like the next thing.
Right.
You know, and it's just like the panel choice that you make, but it's a different storytelling process, in my opinion.
Fair.
You know, like, yeah, it's just some things like right at the end where it's just like, you know, things are happening, and then
it's over.
Also, I'm like, I'm losing out on onomatopoeia because I don't know Japanese.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, and then this thing happens, and I'm like, you have to kind of figure it out. Like, you're like,
right.
okay.
Now, do you feel like if it was in the manga format, or maybe if it had more pages, you might not have found that experience? The fact that it was in like an actual comic book size, comic book format.
Yeah. No, I do think so. It feels like the artist is like, you know, definitely like having to be more selective with panels that they show.
Sure.
And so maybe we're losing out on some of the things that you might normally see in manga.
I should point out, by the way, that for some folk, you know, they're referring to Venom because like Venom has become this expansive crawling universe.
Yeah.
But this is Kid Venom, and it's a completely different book.
Yeah.
Like, as you can see, it's not part of Venom War.
But that's what's so weird about this book, is that like when the first issue dropped, I don't think a lot of people understood that.
No, they didn't.
This is just like, hi, this is taking place in Japan 1977.
Right, like it's another universe.
Sorry, 1919, 977. Like, this is just something that's happening.
Yeah, it's something else. Like, this is one panel from this series, and it's like really not the same thing.
Cool looking. Like, the book itself is really, really cool looking. But I feel like it's going to be a better trade read for sure.
Probably,
like for sure.
Absolutely.
Because you'll just be like,
because of how the nature of its
just
format.
The nature of it in general. But yeah, we're like, I find myself much like with sometimes when I'm watching an anime where like, okay, maybe not you, but have you out there ever thrown on an anime and you're not really 100% sure what's going on? Like, you understand, like if you have like,
I know what they're saying because they're speaking English because it's dubbed or something.
Either you're watching the dub or you're reading the subtitles, and you understand the words that are happening, but maybe you don't understand what's really happening, but you're compelled, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of feel about this, where I'm just like, I understand every word that is being said for the most part. You know what I mean? But I'm like, I don't know what the hell is
but I don't know what that means or what context it's in, or, or there's something happening and it's like just not related to what I'm used to.
Yeah. I will say, like, it does like a, you know, like a trope that I definitely associate with more Eastern media in general. Like, there'll be a move that someone does, and like we know what it's called. Like the flame scythe, great fire circle, and I'm like, yeah, there it is. He's doing. He's circling.
I can see it. Yeah, no, that's That is the scythe, great fire circle. Yeah.
So it's like, I almost forgot that this was coming out. Admittedly, like on Comixology, it was pretty low down on the list, which I don't know if that means anything.
Right? Does that mean that it's on a low seller, or does that mean that
when like things like Absolute Comics or Absolute Power is all the way at the top? I'm kind of like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But I think this is a book. This might be a book that a lot of people aren't talking about or reading.
Almost certainly, yeah.
But if you do have a fancy for anime or manga in particular, especially shonen stuff, this might be something you're interested in. I don't think it's a huge commitment. I want to say it's maybe 5 issues, maybe 4. I don't actually know.
Yeah.
But it might be worth checking out. You know, it's not a big commitment. You know, it's a $3.99 book, not a $4.99 book.
Sure.
Is it 3 issues?
It's 3 issues.
Oh my god. Okay, so this is just one big fight sequence.
So this was one issue, and they just broke it up into 3, and they were like, "Yeah, we can get like $3 per issue."
So I guess I'm committed to this. I guess I will read.
You got to read the third one.
I've read the penultimate issue.
Yeah, this is the series. We're on the cusp of the series finale.
Yeah, it really just feels like either like someone there, whether it be CB Cebulski.
Oh, you mean yes? No, we're not even gonna. I'm not gonna acknowledge the joke. No, you know what's up.
Or if Taigami wanted to had an interest in doing this, it feels like it's almost like an experiment.
Somebody wanted to do this.
Yeah,
and it wasn't just like I have a song in my heart and its name is Kid Venom. It was like I want to try something.
Admittedly, and I remember I had mentioned the idea of what if they did some characters from Marvel or DC in like a Shonen Jump style, here's a book with several stories in it and you just buy it monthly. this makes me think it could work if you made it like this. Like if mangaka actually took characters and did like a Peach Momoko, did something like this and just made their own thing happening. But if you treated it like that, you know, you made it black and white, you printed it, or I don't even think they print it anymore, but Marvel might force them to print it anyway. I think it's all online. But that it could work for something like that, but maybe not based on how this is probably not selling super well.
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It looks fun. Like when you look at it, I'm like, wow, there's like fun things happening. Things are occurring, and that's neat. Like the idea that like there's like, you know, symbiotes like within the society, or that like, you know, there's like currently like Carnage symbiotes and they're all like, I'm like, yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll read that. Why not?
Right. I'll read that for 3 issues. Why the hell not?
Kid Venom and Bailey should hang out.
Yeah, why not? You also read Exceptional X-Men.
I did grab Exceptional X-Men and then almost didn't. Here it is. I got it in physical this time around. This is written by Eve L. Ewing, with art by Carmen Carnero. And you know, the front cover of this book goes like, we're making an X team, right? And the content of this book is Kitty Pryde going like, I'm not gonna be on the X-Men ever again. I'm trying to avoid X characters as much as possible. Oh, it's really funny because it's like, obviously I've mentioned how like it feels like some of the X titles, not all of them, not all of them, like not X-Force. But some of the titles out there are, like, for X-Men are kind of like being like, Krakoa.
Thank God that's over.
Right. And in this book, we see that too. But to be fair, from Kitty's perspective, that was
she had a pretty miserable time.
Like, it was ups and downs.
Yeah, she spent most of Krakoa not being able to get on it. And then
after that, it was like they lived in the sewers. Like, it was just, you know, it was a rough time for Kitty. So for any of the books to kind of harp on that, this would probably be the one.
Totally,
right?
Especially like, if there are no Kitty Pryde books. So why not?
Right. But this is the Kitty Pryde book. And you know, it's just like Kitty being like, yeah, like her life's kind of falling apart. You know, there's a certain element of it that I think a lot of folks, you know, in their, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for anybody, but like, you know, post college career age might feel, where you're just like, you know, you work the job, you're exhausted. Like, what are you doing with your life? You know, she's got a roommate, someone she, you know, knew when she was younger. You know, like she, you know, they mention a lot of things that you'll see on TikTok, you know, like concepts like revenge bedtime procrastination. Stuff like
yes.
Like you'll see terms like that in this book. But you'll see Kitty, like, you know, not be able to manage her time well. She has like a date that she doesn't tell anyone about, and she's going to a concert for a band that was her favorite when she was younger. It's just totally a nostalgia factor now, right?
Okay.
Like, this seems like this is a book written for a millennial, to just show up and be like, oh yeah, I can relate to that. Right?
Yeah.
But you know, when she gets there, she's got the wrong day, like, because she's like she's not in control of herself in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she messed up the day. Oh, actually, it's tomorrow, and I have work tomorrow, so I can't even go on my date/concert thing tomorrow. So she decides, she's like, maybe I'll just check out whatever this you know, concert is, which is clearly a BTS
pastiche kind of joke.
Yeah, they're BSD instead.
Okay, yeah.
And she's like, maybe I'll just see what they're all about. And some person is barred from getting in. You know, it's up to the discretion of the management. They're not allowed to go in. I don't understand necessarily why the security guard has done that. I've also never really gone to a concert like that. I'm not cool.
You're very cool.
So I'm just kind of like, I don't know if that's like a thing. So I have no frame of reference for that. I just live in like a box, basically. But so like her friends leave her, or for her friends, they're friends. I don't know what, you know, I shouldn't assume a gender here.
Yeah.
Their friends leave them, and Kitty's looking at it and goes like, there we go. Young person getting, like, you know, harassed. They're getting upset. Guess what's probably going to happen? And blam, powers.
Yep.
So Kitty does get involved. But it's funny because it's like Kitty gets involved, and the sequence of them getting away is fun until you like have a moment where you remember that, like, why would Kitty ever stop pushing them out? Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, oh no, we got caught again. Here we go. Like, phase through something else. And I'm like, wouldn't you just keep phasing?
Yeah.
Never, always be phasing.
Yeah. ABP.
But that's not really the point. We're having, like, you know, we're getting to see where Kitty is right now. We're meeting a new character who I will remember the name of.
New character.
Oh my God, why? You know why? Because we spent so much time. Oh, Trista. There we go. Trista, who's like fun, like I like their whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that like it's more relatable in a way that it's like trying to say something where it's like, here's a teen who wants to do something. Oh no, teen angst not happening. For whatever reason, they're not allowed in, and powers, right? Go home, their grandmother's there, and it's just cute interaction. That's where we get like the procrastination thing. And then the next day they leave a gift for Kitty outside her door because like how do they find out what her like where her address is? Eve deals with that, or Ewing deals with that by like having Kitty be like, okay, I'm going to drive you home now in my car. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you my license so that if at any point in time you feel like unsafe or anything like that, like you can look me up. You can leave, or you can like show someone this is the person. You know what I mean? Okay. I was like, that's an interesting like trust tactic, right? Yeah. But it's that way, like Trista knows where she lives. Of course. She's able to deliver like a gift for her. Yeah. And inside of it is just a whole bunch of stuff. It's really cute. There's like an explosion of glitter and other such things. Okay. Which sounds like a prank. I love that face that Kitty has this face on like I have to clean this up. Yeah, this is not cute. But inside's a whole bunch of stuff and like a little like note that says like for for Kitty, my hero, Mutant Pride. And I was like, that's really cute, Kitty Pride. Also, she's going by Kitty. She tells her to call her Kitty. Oh, okay. She's like Catherine Pride. She's like, call me Kitty. Yeah, and I don't do that anymore. Oh, okay. Yeah. We are over Kate. I'm done with that. We're done with Kate. I'm not a pirate anymore. But like that's what she tells Trista to call her. Okay, like, so it's like I only use Kate. It for new friends of mine. Old friends have to call me Catherine. I guess. And then she goes to work. Where's the earrings? It's cute. And then there's like the end. Yeah, the book. Oh, and then it's like lol, JK. I like that. And I'm like, that's funny, right? It's weird. Right. And it's like Emma Frost is keeping tabs on everybody. But this is like an Emma Frost that feels less Krakoa Emma Frost. Yeah. More like the 2000s. I don't really know what to do with Emma Frost. Like, I know she's posh, but that's kind of all I know. No, it feels like she's more like, like she's just dropped all of the, like, I'm a leader. Oh, yeah, no. But we'll see. We'll see. I understand from that perspective, though. Yeah, to let that go for sure. But yeah, she's living it up in a penthouse suite somewhere. Good for her. She deserves a break. And Emma Frost, like lounging around doing her thing. Right. But did you read the QR code page? I did not. It definitely feels like Gen X Emma. Oh, okay. And now we're talking. Like, all right, let's get some Gen X. That's what it feels like, and I feel like that's maybe what they're gonna do here, like recruit younger X characters under Emma's tutelage, with like Kitty probably running as like the banshee. Yeah. Of that. Okay. Like, all right. Moral compass. Damn. Okay. I mean, I would have called the book Gen Y, but all right. Or Gen Z. Gen Z. But yeah, it's cute. Like, I really didn't know what I was walking into with this. And like, like I said, when it comes to like Krakoa good or bad, like Kitty is a character who I can see having a strong opinion about it, so it makes a lot of sense in this book. But yeah, it definitely has like more of a like younger team feel to it, but definitely geared a little more millennial, maybe cusp Gen Z. Okay, a little there. Right. But I had fun with it. I thought it was cute. Oh, that's nice. All right, that's positive. That's good to hear. Next week drops the second issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from IDW. Nice. I got a chance to read it ahead of time. Woo! It is fantastic. It's written by Jason Aaron, this time with art by Raphael Albuquerque. Oh. It focuses entirely on Mikey, who is he is an action television star in Japan. Like, he moved to Japan after the falling out with his brothers, and he became an action star. And so now it's just he's living the lap of luxury. Do they know Turtles exist? They sure do. Because it's a soft reboot, it's still part of the context of the IDW like ongoing series, where it's like the mutant thing is out of the bag. And so, Mikey's become kind of a celebrity in Japan. And I really love that. And I love the idea that that was like his go-to. He's like, I know what I'm going to do. I'll be an action star. I'm going to go to Japan. Yeah, I'll leave for Japan. Well, and you can feel the, you can almost feel the, what's it called? The like Last Ronin influence on this, because like, I'm going to talk about Michelangelo. Oh, well, the biggest thing about Michelangelo right now is that he was the last Ronin. So what was all that about? Well, he was sad, and he saw his brothers everywhere, and he lived in Japan, or he lived, he went to Japan, did all this stuff. So it's like, all right, let's do that. So there's a bit of that, like he has a real like chip on his shoulder and a resentment of his brothers for allowing his life to kind of like become this. Not that his life doesn't suck, or it does, that his life sucks. It's just kind of like,
there's a moment where he's out like at a fancy dinner.
Yeah.
And the chef comes out, and of course it's like, it's Japanese, so it's like the chef comes out, and they're all like, "It's the greatest meal I've ever eaten," because you got to do that whole thing.
Sure.
You can't like insult them and be like, "Oh, it was okay," or like, "Nice job."
No, you always say
you have to say it's incredible.
You always say it's delicious. Like you always say oishi.
Yeah.
And then there's other words you can use if you actually
right.
But like no matter what anyone serves you, oishi.
But I think that's funny that they picked up on that. But there's no moment where like Jason Aaron's like, "Yeah, I knew that," but it was fun to know that and then apply it. But there's this moment where he's just like, "Man, like I told the chef that it was the best meal I've ever had." And then there's just a cut to him like in the past where he's eating pizza on the floor of the sewers with his brothers. He's like, "But it's not even close." And I'm like, nailed it.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if you should be able to like read the whole IDW run before this. Absolutely not. No, they want you to read issue 1, which came out not too long ago, but like quite a bit ago, actually.
Well, that's awesome. I can imagine, Mike. I don't know. I didn't read this issue, and I don't want to give it away. So don't.
No, and again, it comes out tomorrow. It comes out next week, so I want you to be. Or it comes out this week. It comes out on Wednesday.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, but don't agree or disagree. But it's like I could imagine Mikey being annoyed too about being like, first of all, you let everything fall apart, and so I went and did this, and like as though it were like. I don't know what happens. I don't know if everybody's going to try to come back together, but it's like, it's another upsetting of the apple cart where it's just like, and now I have this and it's going to be upset again.
Yeah. Like, well, yeah, no.
Okay.
It's just,
I said not to agree or disagree.
All right. Fair enough. Well, it's interesting.
I want to leave it open.
It is about that. Like obviously the point of this is to do each issue is going to isolate on is going to focus on one of the turtles and where they are. The point of the book is to see them all come together. And to abandon the boring nonsense of their lives that we're not privy to, like Raphael being an infiltrator of a prison, being like, I work in the prison, and then they like lose his paperwork and they kill the guy who was working with him. So now like he's just like he was just a prisoner, so he had to escape because they also the Foot Clan's trying to like is resurrected and trying to kill him, and so he's like, screw this, so he just leaves, and it's like, okay, so that's gonna be a problem, but also. I don't want to see that. Like, I don't want to read like a Shawshank Redemption about Raphael. In this one, it's like Michelangelo's like, I made this life on my own without you. And it's like, but you really don't want to be here anyway. And we don't want to watch that as well. So let's just get that out of here.
I do.
Yeah, but they did it, and you get to see it. You get the greatest hits of it. But it's a fun issue and it's totally worth picking up. But it comes out on Wednesday, so go buy it.
Excellent.
But yeah, Ninja Turtles 2. Not the Secret of the Ooze.
Right.
Somebody also pointed out that they're making a deluxe edition of Batman the Cult, which if you're a fan of back issues, you've already seen an episode of, but it's a ridiculous Jim Starlin, Bernie Wrightson horror show that is one of the few that focuses on Jason Todd Robin just being Robin in the middle of an actual like seminal Batman story that doesn't feature Robin dying.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth checking out. If you have missed out, there's like 4 printings of this book. But there's now going to be like an oversized deluxe edition. It's going to be like $40. It comes out the day before Absolute Batman and Terminator #1, October 8th. So if you're interested, go check that out. It's going to be about $40, but it's a bigger, kind of like more psychedelic version. It's cool. It's totally worth checking out. But yeah, let's talk about Absolute Power really quick before we move on, because we want to talk about Helen and Windhorn. I don't want to waste it. Unless you want to talk about Helen now.
I think we should always talk about Helen now. I think fewer people are interested in Helen, more people are interested in Absolute.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Let them stay.
All right.
Stay through Helen of Windhorn.
Tom King, Bill Evely, Helen of Windhorn.
Number 4 has come out. Here it is. Behold. No, you can leave that up. It's just fine. Look at her. There she is.
Behold,
the Helen of the Windhorn. Yeah, I mean, I know Sal hasn't really kept up with this.
I'm going to read it all at one sitting. We'll get the oversized hardcover edition when it comes out,
Absolutely. But yeah, this book is still freaking amazing. And like, sometimes I forget how incredible Bilquis.
Right. I don't know. And
Evely is. And that Evely's art is one of those things you'd be taken for granted because it seems so like just effortless.
Right. Well, because it comes out every month and you're like, well, I mean, that couldn't have been that hard, but like also it's freaking amazing and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. But this is on a pull list that gets shipped to us.
Right.
So this actually got here for me to be able to read it physical. Supposed to have to buy a second copy of it.
Yeah. I have little known secret, but I have any new Tom King book is just on a pre-order list.
Yeah, but like it actually sometimes it doesn't get here.
No, sometimes it doesn't get here on like Wednesday or Tuesday.
Yeah. But it's really fun to be able to like, read this physically, of course.
Yeah.
But like there are moments in this issue in particular that I love. Like Barnabas hugs like Helen at one point, and like she does the thing. You're like when you hug somebody, like whenever you see it like displayed in like comics, either everybody's like eyes are closed or their just eyes are open or whatever. But typically, if you hug somebody, like one side of your face gets smooshed up and your eye closes, and it's just like you're like, ah.
She looks like you're hugging a cat.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's just cute. It's just
yeah, I love
one of those things that like it's one of those like very human sort of moments that she brings to like this fantastical world.
Absolutely.
This is a great issue because this issue focuses on like Helen's desire to join Barnabas in what they call like the other world, essentially.
All right.
And, like, she's like not only going on the trips, but she's like, I want to be able to do what you do.
Oh, I want to be a badass.
I want to be a badass. I want to fight. Like my dad always wrote about like damsels and all that stuff, and we see them all the time. But like, I don't want to be that.
Sure.
I want to be like, I don't want to be like, oh, when something shows up, I've got to go and run and find you. I want to be able to take it.
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right.
That's cool.
Her governess, of course, who's telling us the story, is completely against it. But like, he gets Joseph the butler to train her in, like, in all these ridiculous ways that like seem like torture to the governess, but it's just building her strength and her resolve and all of that until finally she's ready.
Great.
And they go off and they go on many adventures together.
Oh, we're already just skipping to the many adventures?
Well, because the important part is one night when they come back and like Barnabas is like holding her and like she's like,
oh, and she got like
she's at
wrecked.
death's door essentially.
Yeah.
And everything that comes out from there. And this issue in particular may be desperate to know what Barnabas is all about.
Right. Who is Barnabas?
Like,
what's his story?
You know, King hints at like some more emotional depth here. You know, but like I really desperately want to understand the relationship he has or had with his son, with his granddaughter. And so knowing King, I think we're gonna get more about that, of course. And you know, there's like obviously the ongoing like current story about like the auction of all this information that someone's getting. So again, stories within stories. Really love this book. Art is gorgeous. The story is like just so interesting because unlike with Supergirl, where it's like you at least know one of the players.
Yeah, and you're probably going to be sure that Supergirl's going to walk out of there.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen. You know a little bit of, you know, how a typical like DC or Marvel story should end up. They don't always, but you know, there's a good idea. With something like this, I really have no idea. I have no idea where it's going to go, and I have no clear vision of what his message is just yet. But I'm looking forward to finding out more. And of course, the more of Evely's art I can get, the happier I am.
Of course.
So love this book. Just
I believe she works digital only, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, because I remember Tom's chagrin about he was like, I can't own any pages.
I mean, you can just ask her
to draw you one, but like,
or
still.
just ask her to like give you the file and make a print of it.
Like, I don't want that. I want a physical. He's like, you understand? I'm obsessive. I need to have the copy. I need the book. I need the page.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Helen of Windhorn, everybody.
Hooray!
Helen of Windhorn.
Helen of Windhorn.
I also.
Did you hear it was out?
Helen of Windhorn #4.
Yeah.
Dan Mora and Mark Waid gave us Absolute Power #3, continuing the big mega DC event, whose logo I hate, but whatever. And it is going to, of course, now I think it's the cat's out of the bag. It is going to dovetail into DC All In, which is going to dovetail into Absolute Universe, which is going to be a big thing, and we'll talk more about that as it gets closer.
May I just say, post this very specific issue,
get it?
I get the logo more. This like hint at like the old.
Yes.
Because like there were things that happened in this issue where like I was like,
yeah, I had a similar reaction to one or two things where I was like, you know, something happened, and it like if it had been a Marvel comic or B 10 years ago, I was like, oh, okay, that's the new status quo. And they're like, nah, we got you. That didn't happen. And I'm like,
oh, I wasn't even thinking that. I was talking a specific reference that comes up in this.
Yeah, which was that?
The Aztec helmet.
That was awesome.
I was like,
yeah, I'm going to wear the Aztec helmet from the Ultimate Man and go for it. I'm like, what? Aztec?
That's what I'm saying.
And they break it. I'm like, oh.
That is what makes like this logo start to come together for me.
Right. I'm like, oh.
That and the overall feeling of like, this book makes you think old DC events, but with like updated art and obviously with like, I don't know, tighter storytelling.
Honestly, you know, I understand that mentality. For me, borrowing that concept and kind of like rehashing it, I feel like this feels like a Marvel event at DC. The DC events that I grew up on when I was reading Marvel events that I was delighted by.
Yeah.
The DC events were like they were very boring, or they were very kind of like who cares or humdrum, or they were like we're gonna change everything. Like the events were like Death of Superman, Nightfall,
I understand
Emerald
what you're
Twilight.
saying.
But those are the big ones. The littler ones, the quieter ones, the ones that were happening that weren't like deliberately trying to upset the apple cart. Those were kind of like,
But you think that, like, I'm talking specifically about what this is doing. No, I'm talking about like some of the structure of it.
No,
That's what makes me think DC. Because
Yeah.
like when I read through Wonder Woman, Gods,
what?
the event.
War of the Gods.
Yeah, I was getting there. I got all
You got the word.
characters in the word. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
But like the moment of like in the last issue of like Nightwing
taking the reins,
like everybody like standing together and being like, what are we gonna do? And just this
Nightwing being like, people.
Yeah, and in this issue, it happens again.
It happens
There's like
again.
random folks who are showing up, and it's like,
yeah.
Oh,
and you're like, I don't even know who that is.
Well,
yeah.
I had this moment too, because it's like not that Yara Flor is like a flash in the pan by any means.
No, but she's there.
But like she's there, and it made me think of those times where we'd be doing a DC event, and you're like, well, this person's here because at the time they were blah 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 blah.
Right.
And I'm not equating Yara to that.
No, but
like her making sure that she was in them being sure she was in a panel made me
right. Even though she has no book and she hasn't done anything of significance in the last 2 years, like it's like, look, there she is, and look, there's somebody else that like kind of mattered.
Yeah, like
that's. I mean, that's it needs to be. That's like one of the most important things that nobody talks about, nobody really thinks about when they're making an actual comic book event.
Yeah.
Within the big two is you got to have a big snapshot of all the characters as a kind of like, this is when the time was.
Right.
Otherwise, how will you know?
Yeah.
Like what? Who's the black guy in the Gambit head sock? That's Bloodwind. He's secretly Martian Manhunter. Like, except he isn't. And it's like, what? You need that moment where it's like, who is that? Oh, that's Yara Flor. She almost got an entire TV show. Like, they were really, really all in until the book got delayed.
That doesn't mean that Yara isn't like that.
Important
Yara's
or
going
cool.
away. Like,
no,
it just struck me as that.
Yes.
Like, and it made me think of that. But like, feels like it to me is a little more successful. And like I said, that's why the storytelling I say is tighter.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like this is trying to like do what other DC events have done or whatever. It's just it hits a lot of hallmarks for me when I think of like imagery from DC events past. This one hits on it.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
and also like references things like Aztec.
Yeah,
which I'm like, so you want us to think
yeah. Well, and it's Mark Waid who was writing those events when we were reading them or when I was reading them.
Sure.
Like Mark Waid was working at DC when Aztec was invented.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but Ab Power, it's just watch the heroes eventually succeed. John is Amanda Waller's one of her 17 secret weapons. They unleash him. They have a plan to figure that out and save him. The heroes are weakened, which means because there's only a few more issues left, they have to start to triumph, and they do. Hooray! That's the book. And Barry is being led down a merry chase by a secret clandestine voice, which is obviously Green Arrow. And
right.
And so he's, what's he doing? Well, you find out in Green Arrow because it's a great series, and you got to read that annual when it comes out. Because I just talked to the dude who's writing it, and let me tell you, I'm so excited about it. There's two things that I really want to see, and I can't talk about them at all. And if I do, I might actually jeopardize the book, so I won't. But anyway, yay! Absolute Power is great. Also, Dan Mora's art is phenomenal. The colors are great. The book looks great. It's just a fantastic.
It's
series.
funny because there's a moment in this with a character I really, really like,
mm-hmm.
and it took me like a minute to remember, like, it's not what I think of the character, it's who the character is, and then it actually makes sense. But like when Barda's like, we have to kill John, I was like,
that was the moment.
I'm like, Mark Waid, do you not understand who Barda is? And I was like, no, Tiffany, do you not remember who Barda is? And I'm like, just because I went on the Mr. Miracle journey with her doesn't mean that it's not like she has.
This isn't also who she is.
Right. Exactly. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. No, that moment where Barda's like, I got my kryptonite bullet and I'm ready to go. And I'm like, yeah, in any other book, be like, 10 years ago or further, they would have shot him.
That was the moment for you?
Yeah, I was like, oh no, this is how they're going to fix the John situation.
Oh, interesting.
With a magic kryptonite bullet, they're going to just kill him and move on.
I didn't think they were actually going to do it. I knew they wouldn't.
No, I remember.
But I was like, who's going to jump in front?
Like, right, yeah, exactly. But like something cliche is going to happen, and instead, like a sensible character goes, "Hey, don't do that yet."
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good book. If you haven't already, I mean, it's only 3 issues, but like Absolute Power. I don't think it's going to go down in history as like a really successful like DC event because I don't think we're in that era anymore. Like people read comics weird now, and the way they interpret them and talk about them and like carry on their legacies is like odd. But if you pick up Absolute Power, you will enjoy the book.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, it is very enjoyable. And it's one of those books where it's like, if you just read the main story,
you're fine.
You're going to be fine. If you want more, you'll absolutely be rewarded, I think, for reading the tie-ins.
The tie-ins all just do the thing they're supposed to do. They give a basement to the house. You're like, oh, I'm reading this. Where the hell's Batman? Well, there's a basement of story right over here. Just read the Batman thing, and it'll tell you all about where he is and why he just showed up at the last 3 pages of Absolute Power and goes, ha ha!
Again, that's very, like,
yeah, so
it could just be War of the Gods just living right.
But that is
a
DC
brain,
event.
But
also.
that is a DC event.
Yeah,
like,
character shows up and goes like, I was in a tie-in, I'm back. By the way,
yep.
I would like to put out there, I haven't had a chance. I literally talked to Josh Williamson on the friggin' phone today and texted Tom King. What a weird life I have. What a lucky man I am.
You just humble bragging left and right.
I am. I'm doing it because
did you see those names you just
dropped? I had to. Oh no, I picked them up for me. But I had the opportunity to do that because I could have said to them, and I'm instead just imploring the audience instead. I'm like, hey, bring back the old Mother Box. I hate the Cube. I think the Cube is stupid and ugly. And I think it's archaic and stupid. I like the Mother Box where it looks like Ziggy from Quantum Leap, where it is a thing. Like it looks like a calculator with like a strap, and you put it on your arm. And Mother Box can do many things. Mother Box can heal your wounds. You can make you a rad new costume. I like old Mother Box. I don't like the Cube. I think the Cubes are dumb. I think when they invented the Cube, like in recent years, like New 52, they were like, here's your cubes. And it's just like, and put them together and then mother, we're going to blow up the universe. Remember the Snyder Cut? Remember how great that was? No, it wasn't.
Would you stop it?
But like the cubes need to go. Bring back the old weird 90s
but it's
looking
a box. So like
yeah, but like look, I get it. All right. Anyway. So I also read Ultimates number 4. Nice. This, of course, is by Dennis Camp with art by this time Phil Noto. It is not like all the other last issues of the Ultimates. This one is actually it's 2 time periods. It's a flashback secret origin of who Ultimate Doom is and why he's so unhappy.
Are those
it's the Fantastic Four as lab rats.
And there's like a little tiny ghostly one in the Ultimates banner part.
Yeah. Oh. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I think.
This cover may be the best thing about the issue.
Oh.
The issue itself is it's okay. So like, here's the thing. The book is torture porn. It is like, so in Ultimate Invasion, when the Maker is about to leave for the new universe that he's going to screw up and create, he asks Reed Richards of 616 a question. Basically, he says, I've often wondered if the roles were reversed, would you unmake me? Like when your children like seeded the universe and rebuilt everything, I had to be reborn, and you let me. If you could go back and undo me, would you? And Reed's like, yeah. And Maker goes, I'll keep that in mind. And what he does is this universe births all these characters, and so he like screws around with them. With Reed, he ruins his life. Like Reed will come up with the calculations he needs to make the shuttle launch, and then Maker will sneak in and then change the calculations, and then it creates a situation where everyone in Reed's life is ruined and destroyed. Like Sue's bombarded by cosmic rays and gets cosmic cancer and dies. Johnny bursts into flames while he's in the cockpit on the flight. Ben makes it, and he's so traumatized by the experience he kills himself. Like, and Reed is eventually captured and tortured by the Maker in a kind of like there are 4 lights situation where he's like, your name is Doom and you respond to Doom now and you killed your friends and all this stuff. And like you're basically creating a kind of like fear to action. It's like, while I think that Maker should fear 616 Reed because like Reed will definitely find him and unmake him, or at the very least kill him, which is essentially unmaking. In this case, it's like this Maker is like, I want to take out my frustrations on a Reed who would be my like better, and I'm going to create this kind of, I'm going to like instill in him a trauma that will prevent him from ever being capable, or seeking action. But and so that's an interesting concept, and it's incredibly miserable and torturous, and Meanwhile, Reed, aka Doom, who has joined the Ultimates, is like, we need to make the Fantastic Four. Like, we got to get them back. Once we get the Fantastic Four, we get everything else working. So he's been trying to replicate it, but he's using his old data that has been manipulated by the maker when he unwittingly. He didn't even know that. Like, he thinks he's wrong.
Yeah.
And the maker was like, no, you were right. I just screwed with you. And so he's been trying to replicate, like, to engineer the Fantastic Four, but all the mice die every time he tries to, like, make them.
Okay.
So they're actually, like, I thought this was interpretive. I thought the lab rats were like, no, the Fantastic Four, like, are essentially proverbial lab rats. No, but there literally are Fantastic Four lab rats in this book.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, okay. There's also a moment where he, like, talks about how, like, when he gets so sad, he goes into himself and he calls it his negative zone. And I'm like, okay. But there is a negative zone, though.
Maybe it isn't him. Maybe there's a portal into there.
That would be actually more fun if like
Cyclops' like eyes.
Right. If like Iron Lad was like, oh geez, that's really melodramatic. How come you don't have eyeliner on? And he's like, no, I mean, like, I literally go into another reality and I call it the negative zone. What would you think I was being dramatic? But yeah, Iron Lad tries to meet with him, and it's a funny, like, moment where between, like, Iron Lad and Doom, because I've never considered, like, because I'm a long-standing Marvel reader, and I'm a Spider-Man fan, which means that I have a predilection for the Fantastic Four more than the Avengers. Whenever I see Iron Man and Reed Richards talking to each other, I'm always like, Reed has to talk down to Tony. Tony is not smarter than Reed. No. Tony's not even close.
Okay.
He's a futurist. He just because you know what's coming doesn't mean you know how it works. And that's kind of like the difference between those characters. There's a great moment, I think Dan Slott wrote it, where it's not Iron Man, but it's like how Reed talks to every smart person in the Marvel universe, with one exception. And it's when he's talking to Hank Pym, where he's like, they're talking over the phone, and they're the video phone, and basically the long and the short of it is Reed just says, I think we both understand, Hank Pym, that, like, I know more about Pym particles than you. It's just like,
what a dick.
But he's not wrong. Like, but I invented Pym particles. Yeah, and then I cracked it. Like, I know where they come from. You invented them or discovered them, but, like, I know what's going on. But and of course, just to bring it all back, like, the only one he never really gives any disrespect to is Peter.
Yeah.
Because he's like, Peter never lives up to his potential, but when he does, Reed is always proud.
Well, I think it's a couple. I do wonder if it's a couple of things.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's like, you're like Johnny, and I like.
Well, you're like Johnny, but also, like, maybe he's like, Peter, you're like me if you didn't have any, like, but, like, if
you had a social life,
or, like, if you had more.
Yeah.
Like, I have everything.
Yeah.
I have funding. I have this. I have that.
My family. I don't have nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And stay over there.
Right.
Because I'm the smartest guy.
Well, the fact is, I have such a lead on you.
I know.
You'll never catch up.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about it, Peter. Oh no, you figured out web shooters. Good for you. I know where the negative zone is. I can go there anytime I want to. But anyway, yeah, but Ultimates is cool. Like, it's a fun issue. It's just kind of like, ugh. It's a drag. It's of course expertly drawn by Phil Noto, but but there's the internet went nuts about it. That's the thing that I find weird. And when I'm just like, this is the issue. People were like, this is it. This is the Ultimates. Whoa. Oh, I'm in. And I'm like, this is what sold you? Not that it's, like, bad, but it's just kind of like, I'm surprised.
Doesn't like things when they're dark and depressing.
No. I understand. I'm just kind of like, I'm surprised that this is the issue that caught everybody. Also because, like, it's structured unlike any other issue of the Ultimates or Ultimate Spider-Man or Ultimate Black Panther. Like, it doesn't feel like any other book.
Interesting.
And, like, I don't know why we're doing it now. And by the way, that's not a criticism of Camp. I think that Camp's like, no, you need to know who this guy is now.
Yeah.
Based on what I'm about to do.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's neat. It's cool. It's again, the cover is just, like, so striking. I was like such a fan of this concept. Like, I like it out of context. I like it as a concept. Just like, this is who these guys are. This is the Fantastic Four distilled. Yeah. They're lab rats with a big iron mask. Cool. But yeah, that was
absolutely
neat.
I didn't get a chance because we have it here.
Yes.
So, like, it was just from kind of what I remembered. But Plastic Man No More #1 came out this week. It's by Chris Cantwell with art by Jacob Edgar and I think someone else. And no, it's by Linz.
Oh.
Anyway. This is a Black Label book. Again, it's another, like, it's interesting right now. We've got Zatanna coming out. We have Plastic Man coming out. It's just like, hey, look, we're doing what you asked for. It's less Black Label about just Batman. It's not Bat Label. It's Black Label.
Right. Hey, remember Black Label? Remember how we had these ideas? Well, enjoy them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Alex Linz and yeah.
I mean, if you can imagine, based on the cover and the fact that it's Plastic Man, this is body horror. It's like, it's so obvious, but that doesn't mean I'm giving it a hard time.
Yeah, you're not going like, it's not a yawner.
From
it's
what I
like,
had read of it, we have to find the issue here, because sometimes when we get a bunch of like,
it's at the house.
Oh, okay. Is it there?
Yeah.
Oh,
they're all from Fortress of Solitude in Newark, New Jersey. Check out that store.
Sometimes when we go to a place and we get like a bunch of dollar comics and then new comics, they all get shuffled in together.
Well, especially the last time, because if you go to Nukem Comics in I think it's in New Jersey.
It is. It's in
Lambertville, New Jersey. If you go to Nukem Comics or Nukem, I think it's just all caps Nukem. It's just, I think it's 17. It's like 50 long boxes full of dollar comics. The store is,
and they have
all dollar comics and statues and toys and action figures.
It's not just all dollar comics. They also have CGC. They have
hardcovers as well,
like that, and like magazines and stuff. So if you're interested in that, but like, so like that's at home right now, which is why I thought the issue was here.
So we bought a short box worth of friggin' long of dollar comics.
Yeah,
so we have a short box on our kitchen table, and that's they probably got in there.
But then we went to Fortress of Solitude and got that. So anyway, this is a long way of saying that
you didn't get a chance to actually physically
finish reading it.
Yeah.
But from what I saw of it, it's interesting. I think Cantwell's doing more with this than just body horror. I have a feeling it has something to do also with Plastic Man's like mental state. We're like giving you a little history on him.
Yeah. Well, and we never really get a chance to like focus on Plastic Man, like
in a non-humorous way.
Well, and like the books just don't sell. Like you can't get away with doing like an ongoing Plastic Man book, and that everyone at DC wants to do one. Yeah. It's just like, so the best way we can do it is like, all right, I guess like what sells? Horror.
It does. And you are putting this book out at the right time, right? Like as soon as we hit the Burr months, as they're being called now.
Burr months?
Yeah.
Like it's
September,
cold?
October, November, December.
And it's chilly and you're like, Burr.
Sure. But the Burr months, like a lot of us in the Northern Hemisphere are ready for spooky stuff, right? Yes. And so like this really does fit in to that. So again, if you're looking for something that was Black Label but wasn't Batman, this might be for you, you know?
Absolutely.
Plays a Trump and it's not Tom King. I know, right?
Like
how can this be?
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely finish reading it. But yeah, check it out.
Yeah, Plastic Man No More.
Don't forget that it came out. Yeah, because it's a Black Label book. It will only be 3 issues, but it doesn't carry the big Black Label price because it's not oversized. Like it's $4.99 instead of being like $7.99.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I should also point out just a quick shout out because I mentioned it last week. I didn't get a chance to read it yet, but written and drawn and made entirely by Chip Zdarsky. Issue 8 of Public Domain is out. This is a great book. Pick it up. If you haven't already joined your Substack, you can read it on there, or you can buy the first trade, which does not feature issue 8, but like you can read the trade, get ready to get updated, and then pick up the rest of the series. Great book. Really great. It was so good we almost did it on Back Issues. I was like, oh, I want to do this, but I'm like, yeah, I don't want like to see a 12,000 viewed episode of Back Issues. Like, I'll just not do it, or just tell people to buy it.
Totally fair.
But yeah, so what is the book of the week?
Wait, do you want to do super chats or book of the week first?
I think book of the week first.
Okay. What's your book of the week?
That's an interesting question because there's so many great books that came out this week. I want to say it's Absolute Power because of how like triumphant it is, like how successful. But I think I'm going to give it to Animal Pound because it convinced me to read the whole series.
Oh,
I was like, oh, I saw one page out of context for Animal Pound, and I was like, fine. And I read it all, and it stuck with me. And I'm going to get the hardcover when it comes out and give it to my parents. And I almost texted Ethan at 3 a.m. and went like, oh, you're gonna have to read Animal Pound. So it's but it's good.
He's gonna like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he will.
I also wanted to give it to Absolute Power, but we don't know who I'm giving it to.
It's the Helen Winhorn Award.
It's the Tom King channel.
Yeah, damn it. I'm sorry.
Oops, all Tom King.
Oops, all Tom King.
Yeah. I mean, really, like, I love the writing of this issue because
it's a triumph.
It's a triumph simply because of the fact that, like, just when you think you kind of have a feel for these characters, I'm just like, who is Barnabas and what is his deal?
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, Evely's art is just...
Well, and also, like, there's also that comfort of knowing, like, when I get Barnabas' story, it's going to be great.
Yeah. I mean...
Look at that hug.
That hug. I want that hug. Helen of the week.
I could hug like that. What are you talking about?
But you're not like a big, rough, burly man who swings a sword around.
Like I could do that. We have swords.
But, like he's got like grandpa energy.
No, I don't.
You don't want grandpa energy.
Not yet. Anyway, let's talk about our super chatters and then get to the next thing.
So ripped.
I'm gonna get me the ripped grandpa. Baran Foley says, "Congrats on the Terminator book. Thank you very much. That's right. Next week is the last day. Next Monday or the 9/16 is the last day you can pre-order Terminator.
1 week from today.
1 week from today. Please pre-order Terminator or just go get it. And if you want to meet me at Zap Comics in Wayne, New Jersey on October 9th when the book comes out, go to Zap Comics between 5 and 7 p.m. T480, thoughts on Matt Reeves' work wanting to keep Batman grounded. I find it funny since Pattinson said he wanted to do more fantastical stuff when promoting the last one. Wish Reeves didn't block Pattinson from being the DCU Batman. I am in a similar boat as you. Yes, Matt Reeves was talking about hyping up the new Batman sequel that he's currently still writing. Obviously, Batman will not be appearing in the Penguin spin-off series officially. There'll be no Batman in that Penguin book or show, which I didn't expect at all. Like I knew Batman was going to be in it because like I knew Matt Reeves as being like a real like dictator about this whole series. So like I was like, there's no effing way he's going to let Batman be in this show about Penguin.
Sure.
Because everybody has like something to prove. And
none of them can.
No, they prove it. It's just kind of like, who gives a shit? Fine. Like, oh, a grounded Batman. Wow, I didn't watch 3 movies of that already. And I love the Batman. But I'm like, I loved the Batman in the context of like, oh man, wouldn't it be also cool if the Batman could meet the Superman and do things in the DC universe? Cool, yeah. Like, I would really like that, especially if the Batman is like the only place where DC is grounded. You know, like Gotham is grounded and weird until Superman shows up, and then suddenly there's Clay Faces and Killer Crocs and like Mr. Freezes and fun stuff like that. And I think DC agrees with me. I think that there's 2 possibilities right now. I think they're like, Matt Reeves, do whatever the hell you want, because you only want to make like 2 Batman movies anyway. Like you're being a real like stickler about your Batman universe, but there's nothing you've done or said that could necessarily lock your universe outside of the DC universe. And it's taken forever for Gunn's universe to get started anyway. So, I mean, realistically speaking, if Gunn has no plans, or if he was, you know, because Gunn announced Brave and the Bold, like, oh, Batman and Son as a Batman movie. But that movie's not going to come out for another 6 or 7 years.
Right, yeah.
And Matt Reeves is like half-life on Batman is like 3, 4 tops. So you're telling me like there's one of 2 things could happen. One, which is the more likely scenario, they don't want interference. They want a Batman movie at a time. They don't want 2 Batman movies at the exact same time. They don't want to confuse the shit out of people. They don't want 2 Batmans, like a grounded Batman and a slightly less grounded Batman with a son. Like they don't want to deal with that. So they're just waiting for all of Matt Reeves' stuff to be over, and then they'll do the Brave and the Bold Batman. That's the most likely scenario.
Okay.
The other one is, we're not going to do Brave and the Bold. We said that because we weren't sure, because Matt Reeves is being a real pain in the ass about it. So what we're really going to do is we're going to let him get his jollies with his grounded, deep, dark, philosophical Batman movies, which, by the way, are great. And I love the Batman. It might be my favorite Batman movie ever, but also because it has the potential to be more. Like it could be that it starts with like, yes, like ski masks with holes in the eyes for Catwoman, but eventually becomes a Justice League member. Like I could see that. Because I love the idea of each of the DC movies feeling like they're in their book or respective franchise, and then they come together for other things, you know, like post-credit scenes or cameos or team-up movies.
Right.
But I think that like the internet is like really on board for the Batman and James Gunn Superman team-ups. Like we've seen a lot of fan art, a lot of Photoshop jobs. I think the DC is hyper aware of that kind of stuff, and I think they're like, listen, if you want that one, that saves us a lot of trouble having to find another Batman. So like, we'd be happy to do that.
Right.
So, and me too. Right. Hulkzilla says, I'm looking forward to Dynamite's Salinator. Thank you very much, Hulkzilla, for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. Somber Shadow. Hope all is well today. Congrats on Sal getting to write Terminator. Unfortunately, today is a rough one with the news of James Earl Jones passing away. Yeah. Much love. It's a real shame. We're really sad to hear that news.
Yeah. I thought it was something. So like when Sal told me this, he was, you know, you were feeling.
I was bummed. Yeah.
You were bummed. So I tried to make him feel better by like trying to name all the things like, you know, that James Earl Jones had done that wasn't Star Wars. And I was like, well, he got to be in And I named a whole bunch. I thought of another one.
Oh yeah,
The Sandlot.
yes, he's in the Sandlot.
He's at the end of. Well, he's in the Sandlot.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah. I was like, there you go.
Yeah,
another one.
That's right. That's right.
But if you haven't had a chance, like if you only know James Earl Jones
from Star Wars,
from his voiceover work, do yourself a favor, go check out some of the movies he was in. He's incredible. He's plays like he just has more range you could imagine.
It's so true.
Like in The Sandlot, he plays like a villain, but not really, and turns out Heart of Gold. Right? He's in Field of Dreams, absolutely incredible. Obviously, he is in Coming to America, where he plays a completely different character from Field of Dreams. Might be my favorite performance of him.
That's fair. Yeah,
because that character just has so much range.
Yes,
in general.
Yeah. Don't forget he's also Thulsa Doom in the Conan movie. I forgot
he was in Conan.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I wouldn't have known except for you.
Right. But he's amazing.
But yeah, I mean, he, our heart goes out to his family, because it's like no matter what age the person is, they still leave a hole. Yeah. But you said he was in his 90s.
He was 93.
93. Yeah. And he lived like hopefully a really fulfilling life where
he
brought a lot of joy to a lot of people.
Yeah, he sure did.
So.
Yeah, and we got a poster signed by him, and then I mailed it to Carrie Fisher's people to have it signed, and she kept it, I guess, and then passed away. And so, if you have my poster, it has my name on it. Could you send it back to me, please?
I forgot it was her people who had it.
It was Carrie Fisher's people that lost it or never returned it. Either way, it's a real shame.
Yeah,
I would have kept it. I didn't need that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you're out there, folks, and you worked for Carrie Fisher maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, or 7 or 8 years ago,
yeah,
get my poster back for me, please.
Yeah.
Chris Fit 138 South's Terminator is greater than Fudge. One's a glow up and the other's a letdown. I guess that's true.
Yeah, Chris,
I don't care for Fudge myself.
100%. I'm not a Fudge person whatsoever. I like a brownie way better than Fudge, and every time I see Fudge, I'm like, ooh,
that looks great,
like a brownie, and it's not.
No, it's not even close. It's horrible.
Not.
Chocobo Kid, you too can sponsor As Easy as This. I'm doing my part. Well, thank you very much, Chocobo Kid. I'm doing my part too. New Doc Prime. Will you do a back issues on Marvel's Supernaturals, written by Brian Pulido from Chaos Comics? It's a fun team up book with Ghost Rider and Satana. Why not? That's interesting. I have never considered that. I also don't have that book. I did, however, consider doing a book. It's called Devil's Reign, but not Chip Zdarsky's Devil's Reign. It was a crossover that Marvel did with Wildstorm, I think, or no, it wasn't even Wildstorm. It was like the guys who made it was Top Cow.
Oh,
it's Top Cow.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna do it, and then I opened the first issue, and you need to see it. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna go get it. I'll be right back. Read the next one.
Read the next one. But what? Wait. But it's like something that you should answer. The Real Mall Cop says MCU Spider-Man 4 seems to have gotten a director. Yeah, that is happening. What? He said something. Yay! He'll respond to that when he gets back. Don't you worry. He's on his way back. Neon Knight Rider said, I find when you talk about the behind the scenes about the comic on back issues, this is for Sal, the most engaging part of the episode. Do others share my feelings, or do they prefer when you discuss the story? Poll.
I think it's both.
I think it's both too.
Yeah.
I definitely do.
This is
the MCU thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the guy who directed Shang-Chi. He's taking over for the Spider-Man franchise.
Oh, interesting. I mean, the action will be pretty good then.
Yeah, I hope so. If they could just please drop the CG overlaying of the costume, that'd be great. So here's the first issue of Devil's Reign. It's Weapon Zero meets the Silver Surfer. If you're wondering what the hell this is all about, me too. But it's the good people from like Top Cow with the darkness and the expanded universe that includes those characters. So open the first page. You don't have to show it to them, but just see if you can follow. Okay, so first page, Silver Surfer, I got it. But keep going. Just see if you can follow it from the art alone. It's okay, Silver Surfer's doing his thing. Obviously, it's a crossover with him. And then things start just happening. And they start happening with very distinct looking characters that I've never heard of in my life and are doing stuff that I can't even fathom are happening. And so it would require me to become an expert in the Top Cow connected universe. And I don't know if I have the bandwidth for that in my brain.
Well, then why would you even want to read this? If it's a crossover, you need to probably have familiarity with some of them.
I mean, I need to become an expert on whatever this stuff is. And it's just a nightmare.
Is that Witchblade there?
Oh, of course it is.
Of course it is. I can see her butt.
Well, I mean, among other things, but yeah, Witchblade is a time-honored character. I think people have been clamoring for us to cover Witchblade for years. Witchblade's on the cover, obviously.
I can't imagine why.
She's an interesting character, Italian American too. So
I mean, this looks like comics of that time.
Yeah, of course it does. But I mean, like, it just gets more and more involved, and I'm just getting more. It's like reading an issue of Deathmate Black or Deathmate Gold or Deathmate Blue or whatever.
Where is Silver Surfer?
He was in the first 4 pages.
Well, where did he go?
Right? Where did he go?
Oh,
yes.
Oh, well, that's exactly who I thought that character was.
That character, yeah. Those other characters.
Yeah. Jeez. That's just what I need. Is a full page, double page splash of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What?
Right? It just becomes a.
Don't be gross.
There you go, and then you just keep going. I'm like, I can't.
That's fair.
I don't even know what's happening. Like, I don't even know who these people are. It's such a mess.
It is a little bit of a mess. It looks like Ballistic's getting around. Ghost Rider and Wolverine could just team them up.
I know, right? Ballistic meets Ghost Rider and Wolverine.
Yeah, for another book.
I agree. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the Devil's Reign. Bruce Cartilage says, just wanted to make people aware that Batman the Cult is getting reprinted in oversized hardcover October 8th, at least in the UK, but I assume US too. You are correct. Thank you for your super chat. Appreciate it. Noah says, first time catching the live because I usually work Monday nights. Question, I know is the gap is long, but is the P.O. box still available to send to? Yes, it is. The P.O. box is still good to go. The reason why we didn't have a recent letters page because I lost the footage from the last episode we shot, and I'm just really bummed about that because because it included a care package from Lizette and the crew from the Netherlands, and I'm really pissed that I lost that, and I don't want them to feel like I skipped them. Did you
erase? I guess you.
Yeah. It's just gone. It's just I don't know where it is. It's just gone. It's on a card somewhere or it got deleted. I don't know.
Dang.
Thank you. Sideswipe, thank you for your support and says, congrats on Terminator, Sal. I hate to do this to you guys, but if you had to pick one, Terminator, Predator, or Alien? That's a good question, man. It's tough, man. I think it might be Terminator, but
wait, are we talking? Wait, in what context?
I think it's just like if you had to pick one franchise.
Just to enjoy.
Yeah, I do love the aliens. I love the whole like expansive universe. Like I love the ships and the tech and the nihilism and the space and the xenomorphs. But like more alien movies have let me down than entertain me. Predator, I love a Predator story and movie. I think there are more Predator movies that I like than dislike at this point, which I think is also a rarity. It certainly dwarfs Terminator in terms of I like 2 Terminator movies and then no more. But yeah, so either Terminator or Predator probably. But like I have a soft spot. I keep seeing alien movies despite how much they let me down.
I feel okay. So like I want to say Predator. It's a pretty easy pick for me. I always enjoy those. And I do appreciate Terminator. But I honestly might just go with Alien just based on the sheer strength of the first movie alone. The first movie is just such perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so well done. It was something I didn't grow up seeing ever. Like my mom would have never no. Like anytime it was on anywhere, no one would have ever been like, "Hey,
you should watch this.
We should watch this." No. So I didn't I just appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Somebody said Predator 2 is better than all the Terminator sequels after T2, and he's right. Predator 2 is great.
I'm sorry. Are we throwing shade at Predator 2?
People largely don't like Predator 2.
Was the first Predator I ever saw.
I know.
So like for me, it's
it's not, but it is great. Predator 2 is awesome.
It's just different.
It is different. It's so
totally different.
Yeah, it's not genre defining like Predator is. It doesn't establish what the Predator is.
I wouldn't say Predator is genre defying at all.
Well, it is actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry to have to educate you on that subject.
Predator is
a subversion.
How is it genre?
Well, the fact is, it actually the fact that you have the entire cast stacked with what would be their own series action stars and having them all be defeated by technology and stealth suggests that it's actually a subversion of the classic action trope.
I understand that, but I would also say the Predator 2 is also a subversion of the classic action trope.
Of a completely different genre.
Danny Glover is an everyman.
That's right. No, but certainly
he is an everyman.
That is a completely different subversion. That's why Predator is such a versatile and amazing franchise.
But I'm just saying, I like the strength of Predator 2.
I love watching Predator 2 too.
I like the cast of Predator 2.
Yeah, the Predator. Yeah, well, there's I love the cast of all the Predator movies, so I'm happy with that.
I mean, You don't get a scene in a meatpacking factory in Predator 1.
In which a person is chopped in half by a technological frisbee and their top half doesn't fall down.
I know. It's
but
awesome.
Blood does pour out of something.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's how fast it's happening.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's why they put it in slow-mo.
It is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And I would say the end of Predator 2 is a little stronger.
It's more sequel bait. It's more fun.
It's not sequel bait. No way. No.
But we got one.
I love it.
But there is a sequel.
I know, but we didn't. We were going to get one no matter what. Didn't matter what they put at the
No, but
end.
they got a sequel to that.
Yeah. But because like it's there, like we did not need that. I love that.
Yeah, I know. Armed Armadillo, here's your reminder to call your local comic store to pre-order the Terminator comic from Dynamite. That's true. Yeah, make sure to do it.
We should have asked Brent Percy what his favorite Predator movie is.
Oh my God.
How'd you not do that?
Oh my God, you mean the Yautja?
No, I mean the Predator.
Yautja movie?
I mean the Predator.
That's what people who aren't familiar with Yautja credit.
That's right. I'm like Danny Glover here.
Yeah.
Do you think Danny Glover knew that?
What a Yautja was? Nobody knows what the hell that is.
Bear Farmer. All he knew is that thing killed Danny.
And he's going to fall.
Bear
Farmer, that interview with Scott Snyder has me pumped for All In, and I can't wait to see Absolute Batman on back issues as well as AVA. Yeah, I mean, Aliens versus Aliens versus Avengers. It's going to be great. I've read the first issue of Batman, Absolute Batman. It's friggin' amazing. You got to read it. The Milkman, I get where Reeves is coming from because once you open the box, you can't close it. He doesn't have to open it. Just make your own movies and then leave. Dex Baker, thanks for your support. Mordechai, I think everyone is so big on the new Ultimates book because Dennis Camp jokingly said on Twitter, if you want to know why RDJ is Doom, y'all should pre-order this book, and people took it seriously. Yeah, they must have, because like they are incorrect. Like, or he is making a joke. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do this for that.
Right.
But yeah, man, I completely agree. What's it called? Near Reveal says, oh, by the way, I was happy to see GBU book are back this week. Really enjoyed the episode and the theme. Any plans for more soon? Maybe with Devil's Reign? No Devil's Reign, but we will do more GBU. I want to start like getting back into it. I think, probably the next one you'll see is a Halloween themed episode when we get to October, but I would love to cram in 2 more before that. I don't think we're going to get that, but I'm really excited. If you haven't already checked it out on this channel, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly has returned. We did it on Fridged, which is a lot of fun. A lot of people showing their ass in the comments, but hey, listen, it's a fun show and I think you're really going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
We're not going to get political. It's just a show about like this trope. And these are 3 issues that have been pointed out to having the trope.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested in your manifesto or 5-paragraph essay from like sophomore year of high school trying to explain to me why it's real or not. I just want you to have fun and watch the episode. Kevbot says, hey guys, I hope you're all well. I wanted to ask Sal if he has any favorite cover of his issue that'll be coming out. The Ross cover looks amazing. Well, okay. So they are all going to be covers for the Terminator series. They will not reflect the story I'm doing. But there are a ton of covers and I like so many of them. I think the first cover right now is like really striking and it's going to jump off the shelves. I mean, you've seen it already. We've everywhere, but there's a ton of covers out there, but I'm really excited to see more. There's a piece that may be a cover. I don't know, but it's by Colin Craker, who's doing the art for the story that I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And I got to see that. And I don't know if it's a variant or not, but it's just a dope image of a Terminator. And it's like, that's really cool. And so, I mean, I'm going to be biased because Colin's doing the art for the story. And I've seen the first 2 pages. They're done and they're great. And I'm very excited about it. And I hope you guys are excited too. So yeah, I don't have like a favorite, but I haven't like been leafing through them. That's another thing. Peyton Lowry says, random suggestion for back issues, but Christopher Priest, Black Panther run, picked it all up and a sale a while back and really enjoyed it. Yeah, Priest would make sense. I mean, like, we've got to get him on the show at some point. His book's on the show. We've had Chris on the show.
Yes.
Christopher Priest. He doesn't like being called Chris. Heartless Fang, having GBU back was like having Comic Line back. Really missed it. Aww. Yeah, I've been wanting to bring back Comic Line. We just need to get everybody sitting down.
We accidentally did an episode of it in a way.
That's true. Yeah, when Tiffany and Ethan and I talked about Spider-Man, that was Comic Line. It was just on a couch instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially because like around 10 minutes into it, we're like, oh, we're doing a show. And then we just dedicated that time to that book.
Yeah.
Or to that subject.
Yeah.
Oops. But no, it worked out. It's one of the most winningest videos on this channel's, releases over the last year.
Yeah.
So let's get into some recommendations for books that are coming out this week that we think you should check out. Tiffany?
Let's do it.
What are you looking forward to reading?
That's a great question. I pulled mine out here.
Yeah.
Ultimate Black Panther #8 will be coming out. That's written by Brian Hill with art by Stefano Caselli. Like this book a lot. Can't wait to see what they're going to be doing with Khonshu here. You know, like it's funny because it's like reading Moon Knight. You know, Khonshu is like, you know, a benevolent ish, not well at times. Like
he backs the superhero you're reading.
He was helpful during Blood Hunt, right? But like you also know it's like, but not really, like a seemingly benevolent deity who's just like, oh yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I'm here to help.
But watch out for that backhand,
right?
Because it's coming for you. So then to see Khonshu in this form is interesting, right?
Yes.
There's another Wolverine book starting out called Wolverine.
Yeah. This will be the ongoing. This is the
Saladin Ahmed Martin Kokolo book. I'm gonna at least check out one issue of it. Damn it.
Yeah, I'll probably read the first issue.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, when Ben Percy was on Wolverine, I was on and off until the end where I was just on.
Yep.
So that might end up being what this is about as well. Vengeance of the Moon Knight #9 is coming up. Speaking of Moon Knight, written by Jed McKay with art this time by Dev Pramanik.
Okay.
I don't know if I said that correctly.
Looks like it.
We'll see. I want to give a shout out to a distillery book, Time Waits. I thought this was interesting. It seems to have something to do with sci-fi, obviously maybe time travel, but there's multiple writers on it, so I don't know how. Oh, okay. So this is the first of 4 miniseries.
Okay.
By Chip Zdarsky.
Interesting.
But it's saying that, let's see, Chip Zdarsky's on this, David Brothers, so it was 2 writers then, with art by Marcus Toe. I love Marcus Toe.
Oh yeah.
So I want to see what Chip's up to. If I can get a hold of this, we'll see. You never know where you're going to find them.
No, it's true.
And then the second issue of Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men #2 is coming out, written obviously, like I said, like by Gail Simone, with art by David Marquez. So we'll check it out. We'll see how's this going.
Yeah,
how we're doing here.
How we doing?
Is Jubilee there yet?
Right?
What's happening?
I don't know. Batman Robin #13 is coming out, of course, from Joshua Williamson with art by Juan Ferreira. This is a fun series. If you don't mind dinosaurs and Bane, I think you're going to enjoy it. Ninja Turtles 2 is coming out, not The Secret of the Ooze, but rather the second issue of the relaunch from, of course, Jason Aaron and Raphael Albuquerque. I talked about it today. I'll probably not to next week, but maybe I'll give it another shout. Talk more specifically about it.
What is that?
To fly. Captain America #13 from Babylon 5 creator J. Michael Straczynski and Carlos Magno is coming out. I've fallen off this book. I need to check it out, see if it's going. Another book I fell off on that I want to check out again is Batman Gotham by Gaslight, The Kryptonian Age #4.
I thought you were kind of cold on that.
I was cold on the first issue, but I've dropped it from there on out. Andy Diggle and Leonardo Fernandez. I'm going to check that out as well. From the DC Vault, Death in the Family, Robin Lives #3 is coming out from J.M. DeMatteis with art by Rick Leonardi. This is the penultimate issue before the series wraps up. It's, of course, a what-if book. It's totally fun. And speaking of fun and ridiculous, Spider-Man, thank you, Spider-Man Reign 2 #3 from Kari Andrews is dropping. Spidey versus Miles. Spidey versus Spidey.
Spider characters
just punching the shit out of each other.
Being old and punching each other.
Sounds good to me, I guess. It's ridiculous. If you aren't already reading Space Ghost from David Pepose and Jonathan Lau, fun series. 5th issue drops this week. Batman Echoes comes out, or rather has returned. I dropped this book, so I'm not going to talk about it. But there's quite a bit more that's also dropping that I'm like, oh, that might be interesting or worth checking out. But these are the ones that I'm like, okay, these are the ones I'm
the most into.
Yeah,
I always look at this book because I love their covers. I've never read it.
No,
I just don't read it.
But Hayden Sherman, that's not a bad pick for the art.
Oh, geez, I didn't know he was doing that. It's a book by from Dark Horse called Into the Unbeing. I love Part one. I love their cover scheme stuff. It's just so striking. I always see them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's cool. In addition to our super chats, Dan V900 says, I have to shout out the Target exclusive hardcovers, which are really cool. I have the winning card, Williamson's first arc of Batman and Robin, and the first arc of Thompson's Birds of Prey. Target has compact editions as well.
Nice.
That's great. I love that.
That makes it a lot easier for people to just grab them.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
It's
just
true.
Get them in people's hands.
Yeah, right?
Get people reading comics.
Put those books in their hands. Folks, we want to thank you so much for watching. Before we go, there's so much more here. Of course, watch the episode of GBU that dropped, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's so long that it's been. You might not even know that show exists because you might be a new member of the audience. If that's the case, it's a fun show where it's kind of like back issues over on our Prime channel. but you might enjoy it. We take 3 books united under some kind of theme, and then we talk about them and then rate them. In this case, it was more like a spotlight episode, but still. And the comments have essentially delivered that it belongs in the wrong box, so we got the closure on that one. So we are going to add that to the wrong box. In addition to that, we also dropped a interview with Scott Snyder, which came out today. So if you aren't already aware, you should definitely check out that conversation. It's a lot of fun.
And then there was that wasn't recent, but I people might have missed it. It was shorter, but tied to that Turtles book that's dropping.
Yes,
Shout out to Jason Aaron over at San Diego Comic-Con.
It's true.
It's worth a listen. It's not super long.
No, it's like an 8-minute long video, but it's me and Jason Aaron at Comic-Con.
He's such a delightful person.
He is, and because it was a little bit of an echoey room, we are both using our inside voices, and so it's like fun and calming and chill. And Aaron's a very chill dude anyway. He's actually been on the show before, so you'd know that.
Yeah, so go check that out too.
Typical Spider says, "Hey guys, just pop it in. Do you guys think Maker did this to 6160 Reed because of 616 Reed saying he would erase him? Yes. Also, is Human Target a good book for people who haven't read graphic novels? Trying to find one for my girlfriend? Yes. Human Target's a borderline perfect comic book. Is definitely worth checking out.
But like, if you don't know the characters, is that
she's not gonna know who the hell they are. I think if you want to introduce your girlfriend to comic books / graphic novels, use an independent book.
Or find out like what
are her interests? What movies does she like?
Like if she reads like other books, what type of genres does she read? Or like, if she like watches movies or reads manga or anime, what is she interested in there? If she plays games, what does she like to play?
Yeah.
If there's like a game, sometimes they actually have comics that it might be an easier jumping on point for her to get used to reading a comic in general.
Yeah, if she were like a huge Halo fan, there's a Brian Michael Bendis Halo graphic novel you can pick up. Like, and that's just an example of like.
I know there's like pretty sure there's like a Bloodborne comic.
Oh sure.
You know what I mean? I think there might be something Dark Souls. There's Witcher.
Yeah.
So it's like if she's not sure if she likes the idea of just reading comics in general, find something that she's interested in and go from there.
Exactly. Brody Daniels says, just finished watching your interview with Snyder. Can't wait for my pre-order to come. Absolute Batman looks amazing. It sure does. Let me tell you something. It is.
What is this kangaroo? I know it's just the random
it's my randomized desktop. I don't know what it's all about, but there it is. But also, you should also check out Tiffany. She plays video games for fun over on twitch.tv/ComicPop and youtube.com/ComicPop Plays. All links for everything are in the description below every video we make.
Yeah, sorry about last week. If you came by on Wednesday, there was like a last minute switch out. Ethan couldn't make it.
Yeah.
So I had to bail on you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's true, yeah. But Ethan had a horrible case of poison ivy, and he was not happy.
I mean, like I get that.
And he was like, "You want me to come?" And I'm like, "Why don't you get better?"
Yeah, why don't you take care of you?
And he's like, "No, I have to go help out my mom." And I'm like, "All right, well then go do that."
Yeah.
And get better. But yeah.
Good guy, Ethan, taking care of him. Like,
taking care of his mom.
Still gonna come in.
Yeah, he was like, "I'll come in, and then I'll leave from there and drive up to my mom's house and then help her out." And I'm like, "Or you could just go now." And he's like, "I'll go now." But yeah, thank you to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. Thanks to the chat for being nice and kind and cool in the comments. And we'll see you guys next time with another episode. Check out those videos. Of course, there's more to come. Check out back issues. And tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be on Near Mint Conditions channel. Checking with the
wait, what time?
5.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Checking with Omar about Terminator, so and more probably. I'm sure we'll talk about comic books. So I promise. I try not to make any of these shows like because I've been on a bunch of different channels. Now I was on Comics with Bueller. And Travis was awesome, and he was in the comments or in the chat rather. And I want to thank him for stopping by the show. And that was a fantastic conversation. If you haven't already checked that out, you should definitely go over to Comics with Bueller and check out what we had to say about that. Got a lot of information out of me, so that's really worth checking out. And yeah, I was on Word Balloon recently. I'm going to be on more. There's not you're going to be sick of seeing my face. Hopefully not. But thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys next time. So long.
Bye.